In 2018, my life took an unexpected turn. I never thought I'd be leaving everything I knew behind to move to a new country that I've never visited before. Hi everyone, my name is Ashwin, and today I'm going to be telling you the story of how I moved to the United Kingdom. To make it easy for you guys to understand my experience, I'm going to divide the video into two chapters. Chapter 1 is going to be my life in India, that's where I'm from, before moving over here to the UK, and chapter 2 is going to be moving to the UK itself, just so you guys get a comparison of what my life was. So, without further ado, let's begin with chapter 1. For you guys to first understand how the story goes, you first need to understand a little bit backstory about me and where I'm from. I'm from a little state in India called Goa. Back in the days of colonialism, when everyone was going out conquering different places and taking over different countries, Goa was taken over by a very famous group of people called the Portuguese. Now, along with sharing their culture and their heritage with us, they also left behind a lot of other benefits as well. Number one being they allowed whoever was born, or if you had blood descendants who lived during the Portuguese era when they ruled over Goa, you basically could apply for Portuguese citizenship or nationality, which was good in fact. I mean, that's a huge benefit, unlike other conquerors or invaders in other parts of India. You know who I'm talking about. I'm looking at you. Right. Now, this little bit of information is going to come in handy in the further part of the story. But let's continue. So, I was born in Goa and I was brought up over there for a few years of my life until I was in maybe my third grade. I mainly was raised by my mom, my dad, and they moved abroad to work. Then I was brought up by my grandma and my uncles. So then my mom's brothers, they took care of me. And after that, my parents returned back, and this was during my third grade. And from there, we moved to another state in India called Bangalore. Now, Bangalore is this huge developing state. I think you guys might have heard of it. It's called the Silicon Valley of India. And that's because right now there's loads of startups over there. But yeah, back then it was just developing. My dad had a business over there. So we decided to move to Bangalore. And this was the first big change in my life, the first big change that ever occurred, that I felt, oh man, okay, I'm a kid. You got to understand, I'm a kid. And for a kid, these kind of changes are quite new and can sometimes be traumatizing. But luckily for me, whenever I used to go there, I had my cousins over there, my dad's side of the family, and I would really gel well with them. But one thing you guys got to understand, with India, it's a multicultural place, and people speak different languages. So in Goa, we used to speak a different language called Konkani, and in Bangalore, they spoke a different language called Kannada. And when I moved there, I didn't even know a lick of the language, like I couldn't even speak to a single word. So getting admission into any school over there, some schools did require you to, but luckily I studied in an English medium school. I applied at different schools. My dad wanted me to study in his school that he studied in, which was a famous Jesuit European style school. But unfortunately, I did not pass the entrance exam because I came from Goa and it was a state board, so a little bit higher standards over there. But then I got admission in another school, which in fact I would look at it as a boon, because that's where I kind of met my wife. And more on that later on, or maybe a different video, but let's continue the story. So I moved here, and it was a completely new era of my life, learning, building new friends, relationships. Slowly, I got accustomed to the life in Bangalore, and I started building a good friend circle, developing new relationships, and school's going good. I used to be kind of introverted and ambivert, I would say. When uni started, I didn't know what, no, before getting into uni. So I didn't know what I wanted to study in university. Like in India, there's always these two things: either you're an engineer, or you're a doctor, or you're a failure. I know it's harsh, but that used to be the kind of thinking, and is kind of prevalent even now. But I would say people are getting kind of broad-minded right now. So maybe parents right now are kind of more open. So these were the kind of predominant ideology during that time. And then I decided, okay, fine, why not? Let me do mechanical engineering. And I started uni, and uni was good. Made loads of good friends there. And while in uni, I discovered this passion that I had, which was for calisthenics and fitness in general. And that's when I discovered how it helped me kind of break out of my shell of being, comfortable and shy, to being this guy who was quite open. Like, it completely transformed me. Even the fact that I'm sitting here making this YouTube video is a result of what that change was, or what I decided, how my life entirely changed because of calisthenics. And I'll make a separate video on that. But what happened was, during my uni days, I even started like working out, and then started posting about stuff. Like, social media Instagram was just picking up, so I started posting over there, and then people started reaching out to me. I just built a community, in fact. And I was, even this channel, I posted some of my old videos which I've taken down. I think there might still be some, but calisthenic videos. And that's how I built a community, and kind of gave me a taste of entrepreneurship, because while I was in uni, I was also teaching people. Now, then what happened? Closer to, so in India, you got to understand one thing. University is 4 years, mechanical engineering is 4 years. So during my third year of engineering, I had, not third year, second year of engineering, I had back in one of the subjects that I had, the crucial subjects over there, strength of materials. And I remember writing it once and I didn't clear it. I wrote it twice, I didn't clear it. And I had only one more attempt, and this was during the third year. You can still proceed to the next year, but you have to make sure you finish it. You have 3 attempts, and if you don't finish it, then you repeat a year. And I didn't want to do that. And I told huge thing that I missed out. Yeah. Now you guys got to understand one thing. The history that I told you in the beginning, about the Portuguese, yep, that's going to come in handy now. So my mom is Goan. My dad's, he's from a different part of India called Kerala. That's irrelevant. Let's get back to my mom. So my mom's from Goa. Her parents are from Goa. They have been married. Her grandparents are from Goa. They've been married during the Portuguese time. And they got ties to the Portuguese community when they were there. So because of that, my mom's brothers and sisters were able to apply for it. They got their paperwork done. You have to go to the government. You have to fill in forms. You have to find out who your ancestors were. And in India, trust me, it's not that easy. So she had an opportunity a while back. Her brothers did it long ago, way before her. And they moved to the UK. Why to the UK? We'll get to that later on. So my mom didn't do it that time because my dad had a business going on, and he told her that it's going to be fine. We don't need to move to a different country. India is quite good. India is doing well. And what happened was, during university, when I started university, my mom thought to herself that if my son can have a better life, why not? If my family can have a better life, why not? Why don't I apply? And definitely, like, when at that time, I think the East was looking towards the West. Like, you had lots of people from India going to America, Europe, different places, and the opportunities were better, and I don't blame her. So she started thinking like that, and then she decided to get her paperwork done. So she got all the documents about her parents, her marriage certificates and everything, and then she applied. And when she applied, she was successful, and she got her Portuguese nationality. She got her Portuguese passport, a citizenship card. And because of her, I'm a blood descendant, I'm a direct descendant, I was able to acquire it. My dad won't get it, but I would get it because my dad's not a blood relative. So I was able to get it. And then she moved to the UK. And the reason she moved to the UK was because she had family over here. It'd be easier to transition. And also because UK is an English-speaking country. Because in India, most of us speak English, especially in Goa, especially in Bangalore. Most of India, in fact, they speak English. Good English, in fact, the English that you can understand. What happened was, she moved there, and I thought to myself, okay, maybe after engineering, I'll also be moving to the UK. But there was this dread inside of me that I don't know anyone over there. I'd be leaving behind everything and everyone I know. But that aside, I continued my engineering. And now, this paper that I was talking about, the subject that I had to clear, I told my dad at that time that if I fail in it again, I don't want to repeat another year. I don't want to do 5 years of engineering. I rather just stop, maybe take a diploma, because if you don't complete the engineering completely, you don't get a bachelor's degree, you get a diploma instead because you have done 3 years. So I thought to myself, I'll just take the diploma and maybe I'll go and I'll continue my passion of fitness. So I thought, okay, fine, let me continue my passion of fitness and go to the UK and study over there. In fact, because there would be good universities or good courses over there that I could get into in fitness and maybe do sports management or like work with some football teams or, or whatever. But I had big dreams, so I thought, okay, fine. And in fact, I gave that exam, and you won't believe what happened. I studied as much as I could. I went there and I opened the paper, and there was literally hardly anything that I knew. But I was like, okay, let me just write whatever I know. Let me write down these derivations. Let me solve all these problems to the best of my ability, and let's see what happens. And I knew for a fact that I was going to fail. And when you write an exam and you're going to fail, you have this sense of dread. But I wasn't. I was in fact happy, because I was like, all my friends have got to finish their engineering study for another year, whereas I'm done and I can go literally live my passion, or do what I'm what I was meant to do, sort of a thing, feeling I had. And and after that, the results came out, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm ready to go to UK, and I see I've passed. And my dad's like, you passed. You got to finish it now. You're almost at home stretch. I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, okay, fine, let me finish it. And I started working I remember the last year of engineering, you got to do a project, and you got, or an internship, either one. So I decided, we did an internship and a project, in fact. And while doing an internship, it was only for a month or two. I, in fact, got a job in a gym, because in Bangalore no one was doing calisthenics at that time. So I got recognized by and referred by a few of my other friends from different parts of India when the gym opened up over there. It was quite a famous gym. They in fact have a branch in the UK as well, and it was called Multifit. Not shouting them out or anything, but they gave me my first kind of professional job, first professional earning opportunity. I was earning way before any of my other friends, and I was in fact quite emboldened by that, because I felt that, man, it feels so good. I was in fact earning way before that itself. I was earning like freelancing in the park, taking classes for people and stuff like that. So that gave me my job, and then I finished my last year of engineering, and I quit that job. And then at that time, what happened was, I realized the truth, that it was now time to say goodbye to everything. And that's when reality struck me, and I was like, I'm going to leave everything and everyone I know behind. My girlfriend, who I've been in relationship for almost 10 years at that point, I think it was 10 years, yeah. We met in school, and my family, whoever I knew, my cousins and everyone, my friends who have been with me through everything, I'll be leaving all of them behind to go to this country that I've never been to before. I've only seen it on big screens, movies, on internet, on social media, but I've never been to before. Like, what do I know about UK apart from Harry Potter, tea, biscuits, the crooked teeth? Not to make fun of them, but what do I know? There was this sense of excitement in me that I'm going to visit a new place, discover a new culture, create a new life, basically, that not many people had the opportunity. I mean, if you wanted to go to a different country, the only way you would be able to go is either through studies or through a job opportunity. And I had neither, yet I was able to go. And I was excited, but at the same time I was sad, because I would be leaving everything behind. Everything that I knew, everything that was familiar. But a part of me said, it's going to be okay. All my friends got together. They threw a farewell party for me, and and my girlfriend told me, it's okay, we're going to make it work. Long distances, we'll try and make it work, and we'll WhatsApp call every day, and that was it. All I had to do was pack my bags and fly to UK. Now I remember the day like it was just yesterday, and this was June 2018. I packed my bags. My very close friend Samarth, he drove with my dad to the airport to see me off, and I remember heading in, saying goodbye to them, and I'm like, this is a new adventure. I feel like Ash from Pokemon. And I'm heading on my adventure. And I get past security, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting there, and I'm on call with my girlfriend. I'm talking to her. I'm telling her, man, this is so exciting, and I'm taking a selfie at the airport. I don't have a good selfie at the airport. I think I had one, I deleted it. I have this shitty one over here, and I'm like, okay, fine. There's a direct flight to UK, and I'm flying there and I'm in the air and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to land. And this was a phase in my life where I was quite driven. I was like, I had that fire, that young drive that I'm going to build something, I'm going to do something, and this is going to be the chapter of my life where everything changes and all these dreams and aspirations, and I've come here. And as the flight's landing, this is close to landing after I slept, woke up, everything, the close to landing, I see the palace and I'm like, oh, this is UK. And I'm looking outside the window and I'm so excited and I'm like, oh my god, this is UK. Man, it was cold as well. And June, I think it was going to be summer, but it was still a bit cold. And I was like, man, how is this going to be? And I'm like, okay, fine. I landed. I'm looking around, I'm waiting for my luggage. My mom comes to pick me up with a driver, and they hired a taxi. So they drove all the way from Swindon. So my mom, basically, when she moved to the UK, she moved to a small place called Swindon. And Swindon is this small town. I don't think so I've ever heard about it before moving here or before traveling over here to the UK. And I was like, okay, fine, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm thinking, like, my knowledge of UK is from like Harry Potter and from movies, James Bond and stuff like that. So I'm expecting, like those mainstream series. I'm like Piccadilly Circus and stuff like that. But as we are driving through, I see a lot of this forests and fields, and we are passing by different places, and they're telling me, "Oh yeah, you're gonna love UK so much," and the driver is telling me, "Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful place and everything," and I'm going through, and it's like typical, like UK didn't give me a sunny welcome. It was that gloomy, cloudy weather, just like how it is today, like cloudy weather welcome, and I'm coming through, and as we're driving, we reach Swindon. We're entering Swindon. I'm like, what's this? Okay, it's a small suburban town, and we're going and we're going to the house that we're going to stay in. And we reach the house, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, this I was not expecting this. Like, obviously, I didn't expect luxuries. I didn't expect. Obviously, my mom working. She's working hard. One room was sufficient for her. She did tell me she was looking for a place where it would be bigger. We'd have two rooms and things like that. But we would be sharing. So we were sharing with another family. In fact, I want to be brutally honest with you. I want to tell you the ground reality. I don't want to paint a picture of what it is not. I don't want to tell you lies. I don't want to sell you a fairy tale. No, I want to tell you what it really is and my experience. It might be different from anybody else out there, but I want to tell you my personal experience. So I can still remember that was the first house I lived in when I moved to the UK, and there used to be a bar over here, I think. And I remember I used to come back late at night, try to sleep, but there used to be people on the weekends, man, shouting and screaming. I would dread it, but we lived in that room over there, that room over there, and it was just it was something new to me. I'm from a middle class family. I'm not upper middle class, although I'm middle class, I would say. Okay. And we have good houses, like big houses. I would say houses in India from middle class family would be bigger than houses over here. Definitely, for sure. Like for 250, 300, what new houses you would get over here, pale in comparison to houses back in India. So, and I had my own floor to myself. So I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, new country, small beginnings. You gotta be humble. You gotta accept what it is. And I was like, okay, fine. And I didn't realize I would be sharing a room with my mom. I would say this was a bit of a shock for me for where we were in life. And I was like, all right, fine, we have this thing. And The first day, in fact, let me tell you about the first week itself in the UK. So I'm here in UK. I'm like, okay, I'm in Swindon. What can I do? Obviously, my mom told me just relax for a month. You have come here, get accustomed to it, get used to the life over here. So she had a job. She would go to her job. I would. She made me a spare key. I took the key, and nobody was in the house. What I did, I got my PlayStation with me, in fact, and I would play PlayStation in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I was like, okay, fine, let me go out, let me explore. So I went, my mom gave me £50. £50 is a big deal. Like I was like, oh shit, like £50, like, and she told me go about, if you feel like eating anything, eat anything, and then I was like, okay, fine, yeah. Put Google Maps. I was like, where's the nearest park over here? Maybe I'll go do some calisthenics. I'll train or something like that. So I thought, I didn't have a gym membership. I didn't know where the gyms were or anything. And I was like, okay, fine. Let me go and find a park and maybe I can work out in the park. So I start walking, put a park. I'm like, calisthenic park. Okay, fine. I start walking. And as I'm walking and going, I see a guy, like I didn't know the concept of crackheads or anything like that, or junkies before this. I see a guy walking and going, and he's got a bicycle with him. And I'm like, can you tell me where I can buy a bicycle from? And because I didn't want to walk everywhere, I was like, let me get a bicycle first. So he's like, oh, you can go to the store. But then he told me, oh, in fact, I'm selling this bicycle. And it wasn't a very good bicycle. It wasn't a very bad. It was somewhat, I would say, in the middle. It was a crappy good bike, I would say. It would get the job done. And he was like, I asked him how much. He said £30. I said, £30? I was like, I'm from India. We bargain over there. So I was like, I'll give you 10. He's like, okay, fine, yeah, 10. I was like, what? Like 10? In fact, I felt 10 because, again, conversion rates. You got to understand, £10 is like 1,000 rupees in India, which is quite a good substantial amount of money. So the conversion rate, nothing. I'm not understanding any of these new concepts. Everything's new to me. So the bike, I'm cycling everywhere. I'm discovering new places. In fact, every day I would wake up, I would be like, let me go discover a new place. And that was so exciting for me. And I went and discovered this place called Court Waters. I would cycle there almost every day because it was so pleasant. I would go sit there, read my book. I would make notes, journal, and I would work out over there. And man, I would just enjoy it. And because it's suburbs, it's not city, it's suburbs. 5 minutes away, you're in nature. You're discovering new things. And I was like, whoa, I'm enjoying Swindon. This was in June. In July, before coming over here to the UK, there was another small thing that I forgot to mention. Because I was like doing into calisthenics and I was running my own sort of classes and stuff over there, I had a friend with me. His name is Shahan, and both of us we found this workshop that was going to be held in Poland, and it was a calisthenic workshop. So we thought, why don't we upgrade our knowledge and why don't we improve ourselves so that tomorrow when we want to start something bigger or run our own classes on a bigger scale, we have more knowledge and we are better than the competition. So we're like, let's book this workshop, and it's in Poland, and both of us have never been to Poland before. So I'm excited. Next month I'm going to be traveling there. So I didn't look. My mom told me, don't look for a job. You finish a trip, come back, and then you look for a job. So I'm like, all right, I'm fresh off the boat. I have a degree with me which I can put to use at any time, and I can just focus on this now. So fast forward to July, I'm getting ready. I head to Prague. My friend Shahan, he didn't get Poland's visa for some reason, so he got visa for Prague, and Prague and Poland are like Czech Republic and Poland are neighbors. So what our plan was, we'll meet in Prague, we'll take a train, go to Poland, finish the workshop, come back to Prague, he'll fly back to India, I'll fly back to UK. So again, that's a story for calisthenics. I'll leave that. So we go to Poland, we go to Prague, we go to Poland, attend the workshop, huge blast, make tons of friends over there, get introduced to different new culture and everything, and make memories we're going to cherish for a lifetime. Back from Poland, and I'm back to reality now. I'm like, okay, I want to do a fitness certification if I want to be a personal trainer here in the UK. I need money for that. How do I get money? Let me get a job. Now I'm thinking, I have an engineering degree. I have a bachelor's. how difficult must that be to get a job over here in the UK? Quite difficult. It wasn't easy. In fact, I kept applying. But listen, I did not have anybody. I had family over here, but they were in different parts and everyone's busy in their own thing. Nobody was out there giving me advice, telling me, like, young Ashwin, you need to do it this, you need to do it this way, you need to apply here, you need to apply there. Nobody was telling me shit. I had to figure shit out on my own. I didn't know shit about how it is in the UK. Like, things are different in India, things are different here in the UK. And nobody's telling me shit. So, and my mom, bless her, with her education and her expertise, she helped me the best of her ability. And she just wanted me to have a stable job, a good life. And she told me, just do something that makes you happy and see something that gives you good amount of money that you can stand on your own feet. And I said, okay, fine. And I didn't want to keep borrowing money from her. Like, I used to not ask, but she used to give me and I felt bad. So I was like, until I get an engineering job or a job that meets my qualification, let me just do something so I take the burden off of her. And the first job I ever got in the UK was in a supermarket warehouse. Not the supermarket. You got to understand, there's a difference. Not the supermarket, the supermarket warehouse. Yes, the big giant, Aldi. Now, I had my bicycle with me. I had like, and the thing is, this job, oh man, where do I start? I went for the interview and I was like an engineer, like, like I'm like a professional giving an interview. And in hobbies, I go to the gym, and they asked me, like, I'm in fitness and stuff. They're like, oh, so you're fit? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you're going to do really good at this job. And I'm like, oh, okay. And guess what the job was? The job was pick to zero. You had all this produce that was in there, vegetables, fruits, and all kinds of stuff, and you had to pick them up in this thing called a lollop, and you had to put it onto these pallets. And man, I hated that job. I went there for a week. It paid good. It was 6 in the evening till 1 in the morning or 12 in the midnight. I don't know when, but I did it for a week, and I was like, just job. I was like, that's it. I'm done. Let me look for something else. Why don't I just try applying in sales maybe? Because I was good at talking. I worked as a PT. PT is all about selling yourself. So I thought, okay, let me try sales. And I worked for this one company. I remember this was only for a day or two. And it was a paid charity promotion company. So you guys might have seen them. You see them in town centers. They're out there. No disrespect though. I mean, coming from India, I didn't have a British accent or anything. Even right now, I don't have a British accent. I just have a regular, I don't know, standard Indian accent, I think. I don't know. But the thing is, I realized I wouldn't be able to sustain this, because to connect with the people, I got to relate to them, touch their hearts, but I didn't have that level of skill yet. I didn't have that, when you talk to a British person, they have that fluency, that kind of flow that goes on. And I was lacking that flow. So I thought maybe this isn't the thing for me right now, where I didn't earn anything if I didn't sell. And it kind of felt bad because I felt it was kind of shady as well for some reason. And what happened was, I was like, I'm going to quit this job. But the funny thing is, the next day when I joined, the second day, they had like a company dinner. So I went for the dinner. It was all paid for. I ate there. And then the next day I just quit. So that was a dick move on my end. But I was happy I did that. After that, I remember I was jobless for a week again. And then I saw there was an ad for a insurance company, and it was inbound sales, not outbound. It's not cold calling or anything like that. It's inbound sales, and it's for a specialized insurance company. So I decided, okay, why not? Rather than sitting jobless, let me go there. And I remember I went there, qualified for the interview. I mean, I was called for an interview. They interviewed me. They hired me. So this is where I used to work. Over here, I remember I used to catch the bus, come all the way through this parking lot, and this was the building I used to work at. It's all closed now, it's all deserted. Looks like they don't do anything over here now. But Damn, some memories. Not good ones though. And at the back, I remember I used to look forward to this lunch break, go over here towards the back because they had a nice pond, and so this was a lake over here. We would sit in there, look outside, and then during lunch break I would look forward to just come here and look at the lake, look at the swans, the ducks, and then just and I used to get Chinese over there. So that was my life for a brief period, and it was a very low paying job, I would say. Maybe low paying, I don't know. So that job paid me, I think annually was 16,000 something. I don't know if I have the contract. Maybe if I do, I'll put up a picture. And it was for a company called Stay Sure Travel Insurance, I remember. And I joined there, interacted with the people, and it was good. I learned sales. I This job taught me how to negotiate, objection handle, sell, and it was quite interesting. And I dealt with a lot of old people, and I developed a lot of empathy, understanding, because you never know whom you're dealing with, and you don't want somebody to be a dickhead to your grandparents, of course. So it helped me develop a lot of empathy and understanding for sales, in fact. And while I was in that job, I my routine was basically wake up in the morning, go to work, sit in the bus, go to work, come back, and talk to my girlfriend, go to the gym. While I'm in the gym, work out, come home, game for a bit, go to sleep. And this went on for months. I couldn't connect with people as well because I had these big dreams, these big ambitions, and people around me didn't seem to share that same sort of interest or ambitions. And that's fine. I was all right with that. And that kind of made me lonely. And after a while, it started to get to me. I started to feel that sort of darkness around me. To get away from it, I would basically come back from work, take my bike, go cycling. On the weekends, I would try to explore, go around the place. That's how I discovered many other places as well. And I didn't have any close friends. I did make a few friends in the gym, and that's when it clicked. I was like, wait a second, this hobby that I have, this passion that I have for calisthenics, why don't I use that to make friends? So I thought to myself, I'm not making close or meaningful friendships at work. It's just acquaintances. So I was like, why don't I try and do that? So I went on Facebook or Instagram, and I just started searching for calisthenics, the word calisthenics, and I saw parks and things like that, and I saw profiles, and I DM'd every profile. I was like, hey there, I'm new to the UK, and I've been doing calisthenics back in India. Would you like to meet up and stuff like that? And a few people didn't respond. Some did respond. So I remember going for my first, not meetup, but this first basically group. I kind of interacted with them. I went and met them. Really nice guy. And I went to London. This was the first time going all by myself. I took the train. I went to Paddington, got down, and then took the tube. I never knew the tube was so confusing. But once you go on it, often you understand. But as a beginner, I took the tube. Luckily, people are friendly, people are helpful. So I asked somebody, and they guided me the right way. Went to Royal Oaks. So the Royal Oaks Park, I went there, had a meetup with these guys, and then from there, my aunt invited me to her house. She stays in London. She stays in Morden, and she invited me to her house. And I decided, my friends who were there, they told me after our session, we had good fun, and I felt really happy. They told me, you know what, it's going to get dark soon, you better leave because London isn't what you think it is, isn't safe. So I was like, okay, fine, fair enough, I'll head off, I'll take the tube and head. And mine was the last stop, so I went to my cousin's place and stuff like that. And I had like these kind of few meetups, I made friends. But there was a very changing moment when that friend introduced me to another group of people. Apparently there was going to be a meetup, so I messaged the guy organizing it. And till today, I'm grateful that I met this guy. His name is Waj, and because I met him, I was able to come across more friendly, familiar people who shared the same passion, the same drive, and energy as well. And I was like, okay, let me go there. So I went for my first ever like huge meetup, and I came across such loving, passionate people who shared the same interests as me, and I felt part of a tribe. The sense of belonging. And the only sad thing about it was that we didn't live in the same area. So if I had to meet them, I would have to travel a lot. And by a lot, I mean like an hour or two by bus or by a train. So it wasn't feasible. So in one way, it's good that this passion of mine kind of introduced me to new people, but it was sad that we didn't live close by. And I'm in this job and I'm thinking to myself, and at the same time, like I said, I have this drive in me, I have this passion in me, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what am I doing here? What am I doing in this dead end job? I'm just coming here reading this script. I'm just like, what's happening? There had to be a light at the end of the tunnel. I went for some engineering job interviews, and the thing is, whenever I went there, they would always say to me, you don't have enough experience. That's it. They would just say you don't have enough experience. And in my head, I was like, I cannot get experience if you don't give me the job. And that's the thing. I wanted to prove myself. But I said to myself, you know what? It's okay. Fine, forget it. Maybe this is for the good. Maybe I have to focus on my passion. So I decided to pay for my fitness certification course, and while saving up for my job, and I ended up doing the course. I finished my level 2 and my level 3. And what happened was, towards the end of 2018, oh sorry, this was this was early 2019. This was in March. I made a good friend at work, and we both had the same understanding, the same mindset. And even he was somebody who knew this was just a place where he would build the foundation, but that would catapult us to somewhere else. So he left to go back to India because he had some other priorities. And I felt lonely again. I was like, man, the one familiar face I knew in the company is no more. And that's when I thought to myself, man, what am I doing here? And it's getting to me, this thing, and I'm getting into bad habits and things like that. And I remember a friend of mine whom I made, a friend that I made at this calisthenic meetup, a good friend of mine. His name is Paddy. He's from Scotland. He has his own calisthenic academy now. So he invited me to take a class, a workshop at the gym he was teaching at. And I said to myself, you know what? Why don't I do that? And what I did was I booked a holiday for like a week, booked my ticket to Scotland, and I just went by bus over there. I just went to Scotland, and I was like, let me go. And I went there, and I loved Scotland. Scotland was I stayed in Edinburgh, one of the most beautiful places I've been. It's like modern, historical, all mashed up into one beautiful thing over here. And and the workshop, and I went there, I took the class, I felt this positive energy flowing through me. I felt like a sense of purpose, a drive again, invigorating me, to do this or pursue this. And after the workshop, I come back to my hostel, and I'm just thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to go back to India because I'm tired of being over here. I want to go back to India, and I want to follow my passion. I want to do something over there. And that's when I come back to England. I go back to my job. I sit down, and the first day that I'm in, I draft up a notice letter telling my boss that I'm going to be quitting in a week. And there was a week's notice, basically. I think a week or two. I think 2 weeks notice I need to give. And I write up the letter, I put in the date, I send it to my manager. And my manager's like, oh, Ashwin, I saw this email of yours, and I'm sorry to hear that. And I tell him, I ask him, Ross, would it be okay if I quit right now? He tells me, but you wouldn't get a recommendation. I told him, you know what? I don't need a recommendation. I'm good. And I just quit. I book my ticket, and I head back to India. Now you're thinking, isn't this video about moving to the UK? Well, there's more to this story, and I want to tell you guys all about that in the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story of mine, and the purpose of this is for me to share my experience, and hopefully I'm able to develop a series where I'm able to help you guys to understand the realities of things that people actually experience, and some of the and possibly some advice that I can give you guys to avoid mistakes that I did, and maybe some benefits or shortcuts you can take to accelerate your life or your success in a new country. Maybe this can apply in England or anywhere else in the world. I don't know. But this is my honest opinion. And I'm really trying to make YouTube work. I'm really passionate about storytelling, content creation. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this story of mine. And if you did, a like would be really appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And comment down below if you're somebody who's moved to a new country and facing any struggles. Maybe we can have a nice discussion, all of us in the comment section, about our experiences. And stay tuned for the next video. Until then, take care. Peace out, guys.